Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The Ring magazine has confirmed Tyson Fury holding on to top spot in its heavyweight rankings, and this will be a topic that will get fans discussing who is the number one, because obviously there was no consensus view ahead of the fight that Fury had with Otto Wallin on September 14, and the performance that Fury put up despite being cut has not impressed everyone. A lot of people have labelled Fury as being exposed, that he looks slow and plodding. Not everyone believes that Fury deserves to be considered number one heavyweight, and I have seen some views wavering since that fight, people who believed that Fury had been the number one but now no longer believe that to be the case. And obviously with no general consensus, that asks the question, well, who is the number one? Is it Fury? Is it Wilder? Is it Ruiz Jr. or someone else? But we'll quickly go to this Ring story here. You can see on screen, Ring ratings update, Tyson Fury holds on to top heavyweight spot. I want to get to a couple of the comments from their panelists, just why they've rated Fury still number one based on his performance against Otto Wallin. So one of the panelists here says Tyson Fury fought through a terrible cut to get the better of Otto Wallin, though was hurt in the final round. He didn't look the best heavyweight in the world, but I think he'd be on point against Wilder, so I vote to keep him at number one. And another panelist offers an opinion here. Wallin created a cut, but was not able to exploit it or keep Fury under pressure enough to take any rounds or get into the heavyweight top 10, in my opinion. Tyson Fury proved his worth again in a different way and remains our number one. And I guess this goes to how you sort of value a win in the way that a fighter, performs, and in the circumstances with Fury's cuts, what sort of, weight did you put to that into how he performed, or was that sort of a point that doesn't really deserve too much weight? This is obviously the things that people are considering right now. Some people don't believe the cuts played any real part and that Fury looked bang average, whereas others, including myself, believe that the cuts altered the way that he did fight. And when you consider he won most of the rounds after being cut, and the way that he sort of fought, he changed it up because he couldn't see, I actually thought it was a decent performance by Fury. But that doesn't answer the question, is he the number one? Obviously, the Ring thinks so. Others within the sort of different ranking bodies, I'm not talking about the alphabet organizations, WBC, WBO, IBF, WBA, etc., but another ranking body. Let's have a look here at the Transnational boxing ranking. So they didn't have Tyson Fury at number one ahead of that fight with Otto Wallin, and they don't have him number one after it. So they still have Andy Ruiz Jr., who holds 3 of the 4 major titles, as their number one. No change from last week. Tyson Fury remains at number 2, and Deontay Wilder, who was in the conversation for being number 1, he is at number 3. No change here. And if we just look at another metric, so this is another sort of ranking system. This is from BoxRec, and I know not everyone likes the BoxRec system, but it doesn't rely on opinions. It is just an algorithm based. It's based on who you fought, and you get points. The algorithm is the same for everyone in terms of the way that things are weighted. And they have Andy Ruiz Jr. sitting atop here. So Ruiz Jr. getting a lot of love from a couple of different outfits, and it's actually, in terms of BoxRec, it's not love. It's just cold, hard, pure sort of calculation. Deontay Wilder here, he is rated 2nd, Anthony Joshua 3rd, and Tyson Fury, despite being the Ring magazine number 1, number 2 in the Transnational rankings, he is number 4 here. And I guess that is the thing. There is no consensus among all sorts of different outfits about who is really the number 1. But did that performance take away a little bit of the shine from Tyson Fury? Well, I think in the way that people expected him to fight, yes. But obviously, circumstances dictated that he changed the way that he fought, but also he had an opponent in Otto Wallin who for the first 6 rounds really gave him a very tough fight. He fought a good strategy, trying to work to the body. He was using his movement and technical ability. And we saw Wallin, have a very good 12th round as well. He did hurt Tyson Fury, stunned him in the 12th round. But he was so depleted he couldn't get the job done. And had Fury been in with a better opponent, which I think many of us actually thought he should have been in with, and that's no disrespect to Otto Wallin, but he was a completely unproven commodity ahead of that fight. Tyson Fury should have been fighting someone within the top 20 or so, not bringing someone who was an obscure heavyweight up. And the fact that Otto Wallin, performed better than we expected doesn't mean that sort of justifies the fight happening, if you see what I mean. Fury really should have been aiming a little bit higher. But in terms of the top 10 for the Ring magazine, so you can see here, Fury number 1, Wilder 2, Andy Ruiz Jr. number 3, Anthony Joshua number 4, Dillian Whyte number 5, Luis Ortiz number 6, Alexander Povetkin, after his recent win over Hughie Fury, unchanged, Joseph Parker number 8, Adam Kovnatsky number 9, Kubrat Pulev number 10. But this whole question of who is number 1, most people, and I can probably make a guess at about 90% of people, regardless of this fight, they'd already made up their mind who was number 1, be it Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz Jr., or even Anthony Joshua. There are still some who believe Joshua is still the best. And that fight at the weekend wouldn't have changed their opinions, but it might have galvanized the opinion on who they believe is number 1, and especially if they were supporting someone other than Tyson Fury. And obviously Tyson Fury fans look at it very differently to the supporters of the other heavyweights who people are pushing as their number 1. And we're probably not going to have some sort of consensus view until we get some sort of undisputed fight. And even then, people won't believe the guy who holds all the belts is the best. That's just the way that this whole fandom thing works. But I think at the moment, after that performance by Tyson Fury, it's a little less clear than maybe it was, because I think a few supporters of Fury are maybe wavering on how good he really is and what he can do in the division and what he could do in a potential rematch with Deontay Wilder. Obviously, Fury didn't look quite the same as he did in the Tom Schwarz fight, where it was a very sparkling performance over in a couple of rounds. It ended up being a dogfight, and sometimes that will change and alter perceptions, as we have seen. But who is your number 1? Does Fury deserve, in your view, to be number 1 in the Ring rankings, or should he have been dumped down and someone else, either Ruiz Jr. or Deontay Wilder, take the top spot? Do you agree with the Ring panelists? Or do you agree with Transnational, who has Ruiz Jr. sitting atop? Let me know. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.